Hello everyone and welcome to episode 34. Damn it, it's not 34, it's 43. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 43, Barnsley. Now I told you in the last episode that this was an expedition because I'm going to do both of these in one day. The very first thing I need to do is change out of this Morris Dancers outfit because I can't cycle in this gear. I mean, look at it, there's a rope tied around my waist. Roll the intro.
Hi, I'm Stuart Morris. I'm cycling to every large town near me in order of ascending distance and rating them, with the end goal of reaching Flamborough. This is York Review.
With only 47 days remaining in Yorkshire, I decided to review two towns in the same trip. Last episode saw me frolicking around the former coal mining town of Watherponderne, and in today's episode I aim to cycle over to Barnsley to complete my South Yorkshire expedition. Oh, that was quick. I thought that intro lasted ages. Right then. I'm all geared up. Don't ask me how I changed my trousers. It's only about 7 miles to Barnsley, but it's already 1:30, so I better get a move on. Wrong way. Looks like we're on the Trans-Pennine Trail to Barnsley. The high-quality cycle path from Wath to Barnsley seemed a little too convenient for South Yorkshire, and I later found out why it was here. The grassy hill behind me is all that remains of the Black Colliery from Barnsley. There used to be a tower hundreds of metres tall behind me, used for the coal mining efforts, but that was completely removed after 1991 when the main colliery shut down for the final time. In fact, the whole Trans-Pennine Trail which I've been cycling on to get into Barnsley is itself the old railway line which serviced the mine. So the thing is, I'm recording this before I've released the first round of expeditions. I might be making a huge mistake by committing to a second one, if the audience hates it. Once I was spat out of the Trans-Pennine Trail, I began my final approach into the centre of Barnsley, starting with the messy roads surrounding the outskirts of the town, and then weaving around buses into the main people area. Barnsley is a large market town in South Yorkshire, which is home to dozens of coal mines until the end of the 1900s. The town also provides the setting for the 1969 classic, Kes.
Unless you have a friend, like Kes.
Come on, Kes. Come on, then.
Apparently some scenes had to be redubbed for the American audience due to the strong Yorkshire accent. The director had this to say.
They said, when confronted by the film, they said they understood Hungarian better than our film.
That can't be true. How strong can the Yorkshire accent be?
I've got more uncles in this city than any other kid.
Shut him off.
Come and met me.
That one said that to our Judy'd murder thee.
You're just now.
Maybe Hungarian was a bit generous. Crossing Vertical 2006 is a piece by Nigel Hall on loan from the Yorkshire Sculpture Park to the north of Barnsley. It's supposed to explore spatial interval, geometric forms and the play of light and shadow, according to a plaque I just read. But if you ask me, I think it make a pretty good ladder. For fans of mundane trivia, Barnsley is the town that keeps on giving. And it's not just for the modern art enthusiasts, there's something for everyone. So when you hear about Barnsley, you might think about the football team, you might think about it as a mining town, but for all my butchers in the audience, you're probably thinking of the Barnsley chop, which is a massive chop of lamb meat, which is a cross-section of the full loin, which originated here in Barnsley. The dish itself dates back to 1849, but it probably became famous in 1933 when it was served to the Prince of Wales in the building you see behind me. The town hall is the real focal point of Barnsley. It is an incredibly impressive building. In fact, it's so impressive that famous author George Orwell said it was too fancy, and that the money would have been better spent improving the coal miners' working conditions at the time. Nowadays it acts as a big museum and apparently a wedding venue because I saw some people going around in grooms and brides dresses. I had an event photographer as well. I mean, I'd done it for free. Great content. With a building this fancy, I was very keen to get in and have a look around, even if I couldn't find a signposted entrance. I don't think this is the proper entrance, but let's see how far we get. No one's stopped me yet. Let's go for a wander. I'm going against the one-way sign. Just a little way down. This isn't the exciting spy thriller I was expecting it to be. If you spend long enough wandering around the unmarked corridors of Barnsley Town Hall, you might eventually find the museum. The current main exhibit in the Barnsley Museum is the Brahman fire pump, which dates back to 1791. In fact, it's one of the earliest types of fire engines there are, and it was the first fire engine which was capable of maintaining continuous water pressure as you're trying to put fires out. But this isn't just some random fire engine they've stuck in, this is special, because this was designed and built here in Barnsley. It's only when you start walking around Barnsley you really get an impression of how big it is, how much land it covers and all the things that have come out of it. Ooh, a bike. In this day and age, it's really easy to look back at history, look at all the coal mining and wonder, why were they doing it? You know, it's such an environmental disaster. How could anyone reasonably support coal? But you have to remember how big that industry was for a place like Barnsley. I mean, even up till really recently as well. You can see on display here a lot of memorabilia from when the coal mines were starting to shut down. You've got coal not dole, we've got hands off our pits. It must have been a very difficult transition for a place like this. Speaking of difficult transitions, here's some extra footage I recorded of the Barnsley shopping areas, which I couldn't figure out where else to stick in the episode. I'm starting to realise that Barnsley is just one of those places I'm not going to be able to do justice to. But it's so big! I mean, on the outskirts you have the York Sculpture Park, you have Wentworth Castle, and there's something in particular which I want to show you because Barnsley has got a name for itself in history, although maybe not for the best reason. But I hadn't ventured far from the centre before something caught my interest. So I've just arrived in the Dearne Valley Country Park, and it is really nice round here. There's not much else to say about this park, but it was a nice distraction considering where I was going. Well, this is what I wanted to show you. Here we have all that remains of Barnsley's main colliery, or coal mine. This area used to be surrounded by buildings, but only the main tower is left now. Let's go explore it. Well, there's no chance of breaking in. All the windows are closed, bricked up. There's no way you're getting in here. Apparently, this one, 1956. When you know the significance of this site, then visiting it becomes quite a weird experience, because the Barnsley main colliery is the site of the greatest mining disaster in English history, which killed 361 miners. It was caused due to a substance called fire damp, a sort of flammable gas that builds up in coal mines sometimes. The conditions weren't as safe as they could have been, and the fire damp ignited one day, killing most of the miners on the inside, and the noxious gases that were left behind killed many of the other miners. There were rescue attempts and some people were pulled out, but while the rescuers were down there, there was a second, third explosion on that day. Then the last survivor was pulled out in day 3, but the explosions continued. Even after they shut down the mine and closed off its access to the air, there were explosions for days afterwards. It rumbled the area of Barnsley. And that was in 1866. The coal mine reopened in 1870, 4 years later. It continued to run until the last colliery was shut down in 1991. You can still see the tracks that would have carted the coal to the various places. You know, that last segment was a bit intense. Let me try and get some energy back. Barnsley. What do I think about Barnsley? Well, Barnsley is a pretty big town. It's actually a lot bigger than I thought it would be, just going from what I'd heard online and its general reputation. You get here, you see the capital with a giant town centre, you see all the buildings around it, you see these orbiting tourist attractions of these remnants of bygone times. So it's got size, it's got shopping, it's got history, it's got quite a lot of good stuff. It's not necessarily the best place to go for a day out in Yorkshire, but it's still a place that's worth visiting if you have the time. And for all those reasons, I'm going to give Barnsley a Yorksh out of Yorkshire. I know you're out there, Yorkshireman. We need to talk.